a guy who was really piqued my interest, Steve, was a kid that you talked to earlier this week out of California, a place where Michigan is setting up shop. But Dyson McCutcheon, and McCutcheon's name should sound familiar because both his dad and his granddad were standout college players that went on to play in the NFL as well.
Yeah, so I talked to him. We were talking about this before we got on the air, and he failed to tell me that he was talking to Jim Harbaugh basically within the hour that we were talking. Would have had a lot more to talk about probably if I had known that. I did follow up with him, though. That was his first time talking with Harbaugh. Now, he's been in a lot of contact with Zordich, obviously. Likes what he hears about Michigan. You know, I don't know exactly where Michigan fits here. I would suspect they'd be in a top 5. I suspect they'd get an official if and when he takes them. I do think Washington right now, probably the team to beat. They're the team I believe has probably been recruiting him the hardest. I believe he went there. I believe he's visited there as well.
Mm-hmm. He has.
And, you know, so a little bit of a, I think he's a 5'10", 5'11 guy. Quick twitch. Like I said, another guy, you know, I don't know, maybe it's the skill position guys, but I watch film and I'm like, man, this guy looks like a 90 or 91, not an 88 or an 89. But again, you know, Michigan's evaluations have been so strong at the cornerback position. It's really is what saved them at that spot and getting some guys late or taking lower ranked guys that worked out. So if they're after a guy like McCutcheon, you got to think that, you know, he's a pretty top flight prospect for them. So, you know, if Michigan plays Washington, if that happens, which, you know, hopefully it does, and it looks like feels like it's on the way. I suspect he'll be there, you know, I would imagine. And then again, another guy that I think if he verbals early and says he will, because he told me he's sort of in the middle where he wants to take all of his visits, but the pandemic situation has kind of sped his timeline up a little bit. To me, I translate that as I'm still going to take my visits, even if I commit somewhere early. So another situation where, you know, really a very similar deal where it's just going to be a matter of who he commits to. And, you know, the other thing is, you know, it's like you said, it's halftime. I almost look at it like it's almost good because then a lot of other schools will probably stop recruiting. You know, so a lot of schools will back off. Right. So if a guy's really at the top of their board, they may have less suitors to deal with, you know, as far as a flip goes, than they would if the kid stayed uncommitted and maybe got some more offers, that type of deal. So, but yeah, McCutcheon seems to be right up there with some of these other guys. But I'd say Washington probably the favorite as of now.